Listeners and subscribers, hope all is well. California Carter coming at you again with some more content. So, while my wife is out of state right now, she's actually visiting our home state, California. Interestingly enough, I know. She sent me a couple of videos while she was over there that is pretty interesting. She likes to keep up with some of the stuff that I do. She'll send me occasional videos of chemtrails if she catches some of the homelessness issues, anything that really falls in line with some of my research and what I talk about here on this channel. She'll shoot me some stuff and try to help me out with my content. So let's go ahead and play some of that. If you don't know anything about chemtrails, I recommend you go back and check out on my channel where and I'll probably leave a link in the description. I've talked about chemtrails before, and what we're really talking about is stratospheric aerosol injections, cloud seeding, solar radiation management. These are the programs, the program names they actually go by. If you say chemtrails or type that into Google, you're likely to get something that's related to conspiracy theories. The government and NASA and a couple of other weather organizations and conglomerates are putting together initiatives to try to block out the sun as an initiative to curb the side effects of global warming. And in theory, the idea is really genius, right? They spray a layer of highly reflective material into the sky, typically aluminum, to reflect the sun's light back at it, rather than it being all the rays hitting Earth. And that's supposed to cool the Earth. Supposedly it doesn't affect photosynthesis or anything like that. And apparently, what goes up doesn't come down, and all of it's kosher, and it's not going to harm humans. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? This is the definition of the totalitarian agenda, where they institute these campaigns, these policies, these programs, and they say it's for the better good. And who's going to fight against trying to curb the impacts of global warming, right? Who's going to try to fight against something that's sustainable? Under those names, nothing can be nefarious, nothing can be sinister, right? And that's kind of what we're looking at. Not only that, but California has a great way to spin some of their policies and legislations, like the sanctuary state policies, safe injection sites. And if you don't know what a safe injection site is, that's basically where you can go and shoot up your meth, heroin, whatever drugs you have, and they give you a clean needle out there in California so you don't spread disease. That's one of the things they tout that it's supposed to do. Funny enough, the used needles end up all over the sidewalks where children can walk by, and you see them on the streets in California. You also see piles of feces out there as well. Some of these places, most of the places, it's confined to areas like Sacramento, LA, San Diego, and San Francisco, but really it's just starting to permeate everywhere out there in that state. So I shout out to my wife for including this content here, because there's a couple of ideas that go along with chemtrails, not just the geoengineering aspect, the weather manipulation, but there's a fair amount of people who believe chemtrails tie into Project Bluebeam and geoengineering, not for nefarious purposes, or I guess not for political purposes, essentially making the planet more inhabitable for extraterrestrial biological entities. I'm more of a person who believes in interdimensional, non-corporeal beings rather than physical flesh and blood entities from planets far away. I also adopt a different model of the cosmology than most people do, but that's a different can of worms. Project Bluebeam, if you haven't heard of it, I did do a video touching on it. It's not that great, but essentially, and this is, not falsifiable. There's no documents out on this. There's no declassified information that you can look into. This is pretty solidly speculation, but when you look into what is being explained in this Project Bluebeam scenario, we have the technology and the capabilities to perform it. And essentially what it is using projectors, or very sophisticated type of projection technology, where you can hear sounds and you can see extraordinary visuals. And they use this, or it's touted to be used as a deception, where you can, in Christian countries, you'll see Jesus, and Eastern countries, you might see Buddha, Indian Krishna, wherever your region is, you will see your associated Godhead, and they have the capability with the voice to skull technology to make it sound like that entity is talking to you. And something that's very interesting about the voice to skull technology is, let's take a look at this article here. So this is just one example of the many tangential and anecdotal evidence that goes to show gang stalking and voice to skull technology, where people claim they are being attacked by directed energy weapons, this form of technology where they'll hear voices in their heads. And I'm just going to go over this one piece of anecdotal evidence, and there's many out there. There's many better YouTubers than myself who are covering things like gang stalking, voice to skull technology, and direct energy weapons. And this is just absolutely gold, and this happened in California. Maybe you heard about it, but a gunman who killed California officer left notes saying he was hit by sonic waves. So I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to read the part that where he said, I'm going to quote him here. Let's see if I can find it. Right, here it is. Limbaugh, I believe his name is believed to have opened fire on Davis police officer Natalie Corona, 22, without warning as she responded to a 3-vehicle traffic collision that was reported around 6:45 p.m. Thursday. Limbaugh was not involved in the incident, and the police chief said it appeared to be an ambush. The typed letter released by police Saturday says, "The Davis Police Department has been hitting me with ultrasonic waves meant to keep dogs from barking." He went on to say that he notified the press, internal affairs, and the FBI about it. "I am highly sensitive to its effects on my inner ear. I did my best to appease them, but they have continued for years, and I can't live this way anymore." The letter reads, "It is not signed, but typed at the bottom is Citizen Kevin Limbaugh." Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description for this article, and you can make of it what you will. I just think this is just, again, an interesting piece of tangential anecdotal evidence that adds to the credibility of voice to skull technology and directed energy weapons. And if you know anything about directed energy weapons, you know they can be used from anything from starting fires to deterring large crowds. So again, I think that a lot of the technologies, they are multifaceted. They don't only have one purpose. So when we talk about chemtrails, I think geoengineering is, of course, a big aspect of that. I do think it could be loosely tied into the Project Bluebeam, spray a layer of a cloud into the sky and use it as a background, as a projection screen. I think the technology is a little more sophisticated where we won't need something like that. So, that's just a theory, and I'm throwing that out there. It's just interesting to think about these things and consider them, especially when you're thinking or talking about things like the New World Order or the tyrannical tiptoe. I think I'm going to leave it there. I thought that this was interesting to share. Go ahead, like and subscribe, and if you do like it, share it with anyone you know. California Carter, signing off.